and welcome to your Monday One show live on BBC One and iPlayer with Alex Jones.
And Jermaine Genius. Right, you are in for a treat because coming up we have an exclusive interview with arguably, do you think, the most famous family on the planet?
Definitely.
The Kardashians, yes. Now we're very excited, but not quite as excited as Ryland, who's been finding out about their return to reality TV.
He's absolutely loving it. Also tonight we're introducing you to the legend that is 95-year-old Ivor Button. He's still flying high after an incredible weekend that saw him wing-walk his way into the record books, and he'll be telling us all about it later on.
Oh, he's lovely, isn't he? But before all of that, let's say hello to tonight's guests. Now, we're joined by two actors who've starred in some of the most binge-worthy shows of all time. Afterlife, Line of Duty, Boardwalk Empire, Downton Abbey, to name but a few. We could go on. Dame Penelope Wilton and Kelly MacDonald are here. And
joining them on the sofa is a man who's been a permanent fixture on construction sites for a while, building a TV legacy, which spans more than 2 decades. It's Kevin MacLeod. Got there in the end. We got there in the end.
Good to see you all.
I just want to say that, you know, when you introduce actresses, you know, with the kind of great, huge list of work and, you know, the kind of the excitement, the glamour, these extraordinary. Then you say a man who spends his life on construction sites. It sort of just lowers the tone a bit.
No.
But the thing is there anybody who doesn't like grand designs?
Correct.
I don't think so, Kevin.
Well,
it's
a few
winner.
people in my family.
It's a legacy.
Oh, well, your family,
you know.
maybe. So we're going to talk about grand designs, the streets, a little bit later. But now, I don't know, ladies, whether you saw this, because I heard you say, Penelope, that you were a fan of grand designs.
I am.
But there was this thing that you were going to do a new series, and for those people who didn't see it, tell us all about it, called Bland Designs.
It was April the 1st.
Oh.
It was, you know...
Did you get a few, though?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's kind of you know. I mean, look, I think that it was a good joke. It was one that I was trying to make against myself.
We had a few people that were actually interested in it.
Really?
Just so you know.
Really,
just so you know.
Yeah.
I think there's a potential there.
Yeah, there is. Penelope, I've heard you've been known to prank your co-stars as well, apparently.
Well, well, on occasion. In the theatre, yes, I was doing some plays called The Norman Conquest by Alan Ayckbourn. And we'd been doing it for a while, and that's when the rot sets in a little. And there was Penelope Keith, Felicity Kendall and myself. And there was a particular actor called Mark Kingston who used to make us laugh, so we thought we'd get our own back. So we wrote R on Penelope's knickers, and E on my knickers, and G on Felicity's. And when he walked to the side of the stage, we lifted our skirts and we had Reg written across our bottom. And he didn't laugh at all, but we couldn't go on because we were laughing. We thought we were... Well, his reaction, and also we thought we were terribly funny, but it didn't seem to work. It just fired back at us.
Brilliant. And you look like butter wouldn't melt, Penelope.
I know.
But you like pranking your children, Kelly?
Yeah, I don't prank people at work or anything, but yeah, my poor kids.
Yeah, go on. Give us an example.
Yeah.
Well, my mum won't mind me saying this. She wears a wig. She wears a very nice wig. But, she used to occasionally... She's had the same style for a while, but she used to sometimes change it up. And for some reason, I had a... what was the Hugh Jackman character?
Wolverine.
Wolverine, yeah. So I had a wig, and I can't remember, it must have been around Halloween, and I picked the kids up and I said, look, Gran's got a new wig, but be nice, it's not the greatest. And so she had the wig on when they arrived, and my kids are so polite and good. They're such good boys that they just said she looked really nice. And she's sort of mad enough that they bought it.
Oh, well, that's testament to you as well. That's lovely. Well, we'll be chatting to Kelly and Penelope all about their new World War II film, Operation Mincemeat, which tells the story of how a decoy message fooled the German army. Plus, Kevin will be telling us about the best home improvements to help save money on your monthly bills.
Yes, and if you want to send us a message, no decoys please, get in touch in all the usual ways. The details are on your screen now.
Well, something that everyone is talking about right now is the rising cost of living. It's never been more important to manage finances. So today, Richie Anderson is heading back to school for the lesson he never had, money management.
This is how 11-year-old Max spends most of his money.
Mum, I'm ready. As soon as I get my pocket money every week, I spend it on video games. You just go into like your in-game shop area. It's one tap and then boom, the money's gone.
Putting that down now.
But Mum Louise, like countless other parents, has concerns around his attitude towards spending.
Everything is online. It's just a click of a button and it can be very easy to be impulsive. I think for Max and his generation, it's hard for them to appreciate the value of money.
The Money and Pension Service would agree, saying fewer than half of children and young people in the UK now receive a meaningful financial education.
I'm not the best at managing my finances, and I suspect that might be down to the fact that I didn't learn about it when I was younger. But things are changing, and I'm here in Leicester, where one primary school is determined to teach its children about the value of money.
Queensmead Primary has introduced its own currency called Purple Pounds.
Do you want it now or do you want to bank it? Can I have it now, please?
Pupils are paid for doing jobs around the school like planting trees and organising events, and they can use the Purple Pounds they earn to buy real items, anything from coloured pencils to a set of headphones.
Max, please.
This morning, Max has a job interview. He's hoping to land the role of school events advertiser.
Is there anything that you would like to ask us about Purple Pounds?
Yes, what would my work days be and what's the pay?
And Max is in luck.
Max?
I'm delighted to tell you that you've been successful.
It's amazing. How are you feeling?
It's exciting.
And he already knows what he'd like to spend his wages on.
I do have my eyes on the speakers.
Well, if you'd really like those speakers, Max, you'd best get to work. Meanwhile, I'm meeting Principal Mrs. Latham to find out why she's decided to set up Purple Pounds.
One of the reasons that we thought it was really important is so that children learn the true value of money. So learning what it is to save and to make sure that they've sorted out their own financial understanding. So the ultimate aim is that the children develop those skills that they can then take into later life.
Financial literacy is compulsory for 11 to 16-year-olds in the national curriculum in England. But last year, an all-party parliamentary group called on the government to ensure that by the end of the decade, primary school children are also taught about finance. Here, they teach children about the value of money from the age of 5.
What is that tax used for? Hospitals. Hospitals, yes.
I mean, some of the things that children are learning about here, I honestly didn't have a clue about. And in all seriousness, I wish I did this when I was at school. How has what you've learned at school changed the way you think about money?
I know that now, when you save, you can get better stuff for your money.
You're learning about taxes?
Yeah.
Do you think that they should put tax on the Purple Pounds?
No.
The government says guidance on financial education is available to primary schools and it's working to explore further support. Sarah Peretta from the Money and Pension Service thinks it's vital that young children learn about managing their finances.
Well, you really can't start early enough, so you could start as young as 3.
3?
Yeah. The research that we've done shows that children that become confident and get a good financial education do better as adults with managing their money.
As the day draws to a close, Max is finishing his first shift in his new job.
Thank you.
Today, he's earned 10 Purple Pounds, which is enough to buy something right away at the school shop. But the question is, will he spend it or choose to save it up?
Earlier on, Max, you said you wanted the speaker. How much is that?
That is 50 Purple Pounds.
Are you prepared to wait 5 weeks, or you can have a calculator right now?
Something I don't have is a working speaker. So, I think I should put it in my bank account and save it.
And I wonder if all this will change how Max thinks about money in the real world.
So next week, then, when your mum gives you your pocket money, is it going to go on games?
I'm going to save it for when there's something I actually need.
It's clear the children here are changing the way they think about how they manage their finances, which can only stand them in good stead for the future. And hopefully more young people across the UK will get opportunities like this.
See, that is a great idea,
Very good.
isn't it?
Very
and
good
it does make you think, because of course, children don't really see cash.
Mine haven't got a clue.
Because, you know, it's contactless.
Yeah.
Right, I'm
And constant
starting. I'm
as well.
starting tomorrow.
Yeah, constant. What are you doing
Ted,
tomorrow?
I don't know. We're going to start money management lessons. They said from 3, we're already 2 years behind. Right, we're going to be winding back the clocks now, because Penelope and Kelly, your new film, all about World War II, and it's about a really fantastic plan that was a turning point, really. Before we chat about it, let's just have a look.
In 5 weeks, 100,000 British forces will strike Sicily's southern shore. Unfortunately, the Nazis know of our intentions. So we're going to play a humiliating trick on Hitler. We have to convince Germany that our target is Greece.
A corpse carrying fake documents.
The thing is, the Germans will scrutinize every detail of our fallen man.
He must be as real as you or I.
He would carry a letter from his wife professing her deep love for him.
Very good. And he would carry her photograph.
My contribution to the mission for a seat at the table.
Brilliant. All right. Kelly, can you like Operation Mincemeat? You know, what was it? Can you explain to us, you know, exactly what happened?
It was a really bonkers idea that MI5 came up with to plant a dead airman in Spanish water and trick the Germans, hopefully, into believing that the Allies were going to invade Greece and not Sicily, as they did, and as everybody kind of knew they would. And so their idea was to find a dead body, plant it in the sea with fake documents and what they called wallet litter. Okay. And so they had to make up a whole story that was believable about this man. And there was so many points of the plan that it could have gone terribly wrong and not worked at all. And it's also one of those things, we were talking about it earlier, where if it was an original screenplay, people would think it was just too much, too bonkers, but it worked.
Because they were really far-fetched, some of these ideas, weren't they? And a lot of films, you know, about World War II, it's about the soldiers on the ground. But this is about these amazing brains that were operating in these basements in London and thinking up about all these plans. Now, tell us about the characters that you play. We'll start with you, Penelope.
Well, I play Hester Leggett, who was who worked with Ewan Montague when he came from the law, and then he was during the war he came to MI5 and actually the War Office, and they started Room 13. They started thinking up ideas like this one, to try and fool the Germans, because the Allies were going to come up through Sicily and then make their push up through Italy, and that's the 1943. But the Germans knew we were there, so we had to convince them with what Kelly says, the thought that this other thing, that we were going to actually land in North Greece, so they'd move all their battalions over. So we got together, him and Ewan Montague and a man called Chumley, and then Jean Leslie also joined, and the four of us created this man out of this poor vagrant who had died. They found his body, but it had to be done very quickly because this body was going to go off, as it were. So they had to create a whole personality and make things like they had a cleaning ticket in his pocket and a love letter from his girlfriend and all sorts of things.
Debt. They made him in debt. Yeah, there was a letter from his bank manager.
Yes, everything. And they created this character called Captain Martin. And then they took him up to the north of Scotland and put him in a submarine and catapulted him out of the sea. And he washed up on... But what is interesting about this film is that you don't see any of the action. You just see this hidden war of these people thinking... And once once the body goes, and it goes up to the north of Scotland to be taken out to sea, all they can do is wait and see if it works.
Wow.
Of course, they've got scouts and they've got spies in northern Spain too that will... But all they can do is wait. Yeah. So all these plans could go terribly wrong, in which case thousands of young men would die.
Incredible story.
And so it was a turning point in the war.
Yeah.
And actually, they fell for it.
Yeah. Kelly, one of the people that actually worked on Operation Mincemeat in real life was Ian Fleming, the author of James Bond. I mean, I couldn't believe that when I heard that. How does he fit into the whole story?
Well, apparently in MI5 there was a lot of wannabe writers. It was quite, they were all a bit fed up with each other. Everybody was writing a novel. And and Johnny Flynn plays Ian Fleming, and he does the voiceover in the film as well. Because there's the core, like we're the Beatles, we're the main four characters, and then and he based a lot of, Ian Fleming based a lot of what we've seen in James Bond on his experiences in MI5.
Incredible. Can't wait to see it. Well, Operation Mincemeat is out in cinemas on Friday.
Still to come, we'll be chatting to Kevin all about the self-build revolution and to 95-year-old Ivor Button, whose weekend involved a wing and a prayer. There he is, look, flying into the record books.
Absolutely loves it. But first, we're going to try to keep up with the Kardashians. Back in 2007, they shot to global superstardom when they allowed cameras into their homes to follow their every move. Between them, get this out, they've got 1.2 billion followers on Instagram. Correct, that face works.
Right.
And an estimated net worth of $2 billion. Probably actually a bit more than that as well, by the way.
Goodness.
Incredible.
Well, ahead of the release of their brand new series, guess what it's called? The Kardashians. They agreed to give the One Show an exclusive interview, and when Rylan got wind of it, he pushed us out the way, didn't he? And he said, I'm going to handle this.
The Kardashians have been dominating our screens now for over 20 years. From young entrepreneurs to masters of the fashion and beauty industry, we've followed these fabulous women as they've fallen in and out of love and built their massive empire. Last year, audiences were devastated when Kris, Kim, Kourtney, Khloe, Kendall and Kylie announced that they were bidding farewell to their landmark show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. But just when we thought it was all over, the Queens are back with a whole new show. And I have got the pleasure of finding out what it's all about from the lovely ladies themselves. It's so lovely to see you all. You're all looking absolutely stunning. And we are so thrilled because you ladies are back for the brand new series of The Kardashians. But what we want to know is, how's it going to be different to Keeping Up?
Yeah, I think that, you know, the show's really different in the sense that we kind of show ourselves individually.
They're gonna like you for who you are, not what you wear. I'm just kidding, obviously.
The other show was less documentary style and showed us all as a family all the time. So I think it's really interesting to see like what we do daily individually and then how we come together. But I think we're still always, you know, who we are, and the viewer will also love seeing us, you know, just come back together as a family.
We have all the time and all of the resources to burn them to the ground.
Never go against the family.
Never go against the family.
There is no change in the Kardashians, let's be fair. We wouldn't even wanna. We wouldn't want to change it for the world. Now, there's been a period where you've not had cameras in your houses, in your faces 24/7. What was that like? Did you go wild?
We had a good year off, and I think it felt amazing, and I think it really allowed us to see what our lives were like individually instead of just always being together. And I think we barely like saw each other as much because we just
speak for yourself.
We're happy to like, I don't know, we just had a break. Yeah, when you have some time off, you can really like regroup and
live your life.
Live your life and have experiences. Like, what is important to our lives without this? Like, what is important to me now, today, like starting from scratch?
This is a relationship that I don't think anybody saw coming.
Who are you texting, Ken? Does his name rhyme with feet?
It's a brand new era, you know, lives change. And talking of lives changing, am I right in saying I saw some pictures of a little white chapel, and Elvis singing, a bouquet in the hands? Is something going on?
It was fun.
Did Elvis sing?
Elvis sang when I walked down the aisle. He did.
I got to FaceTime with him. Did you know that?
Stop.
I FaceTimed with his manager took me in. I got to have a little chitty chat with the good old
Elvis himself. Oh my gosh.
It looked amazing. Congratulations in order. Should I be saying congrats?
Thank you. I mean, congrats on like the best night of my life. Like it was just a really fun, wild Vegas night that I'm sure many people have had.
Or wish they had.
Or wish they had. Exactly.
I wish they had. Absolutely. Well, look, we can't wait to see the brand new series. You really can't. You all look absolutely fantastic. You stay safe and stay well. And we wish you all happiness from the One Show.
Thank you so much. Many
Lots
blessings
of love,
to
girls.
you.
Take care.
Well.
Yes, well, we know that the wedding pictures were just for practice. There's actually no licence as yet, which does beg the real question, though. Is there a wedding on the cards for Courtney? Well, we're going to have to just watch this space, aren't we? And you can watch the Kardashians on Disney Plus from Thursday.
I can't wait to ring Rylan and get all the goss.
Yeah,
Now
plenty
then,
of it.
Kevin, you are heading back to the largest self-built site in the UK. We've talked about it before because it's a project that's been going for a while already. So this is called Grand Designs The Street. Now then, tell people who haven't seen it, or not caught up with it yet, what the project is all about.
Well, it's a bit of a petri dish for self-build, so it's experimental, and it's in Bicester, just outside Oxford, and we made a series called The Street, and I've learnt last week that the new series is called The Streets, plural, because we filmed 10 people building houses in one street, and now there's 200, and we're filming individuals who are sort of buying plots from the council and building their own houses in all kinds of ways and in all kinds of styles in this sort of self-built theme park.
Nice. Well, the beauty of Graven Hill development is that everyone gets to build the house of their dreams, but it does mean that you end up with a lot of different styles of house, and here you are, Kevin, having a ride around the neighbourhood.
I did wonder whether this place would be like an architectural zoo, but a zoo is collected and organised. This is like a new life form that is growing uncontrollably. It's a town without planning. That worked in the 16th and 18th centuries because people had limited means and materials from which to build. Now, you can build anything, which is what people are doing.
I'm going to get in first, Kevin, because I know Alex is chomping at the bit to ask you some questions about this. You're all about the aesthetics, I would have thought. How does this sit with you?
No.
No?
No, I'm not.
What have we been watching for the last 20 years?
No, I'm about diversity. And so in a way, I sort of park taste. You know, my favourite house actually at Graven Hill is a house that looks like it's straight off the set for Desperate Housewives, but it's done so well. It's done with such conviction. You know, I've always felt that if people do things, doesn't matter what it is, if they do it with passion and conviction and energy, then it'll work. You know what I mean? It's stuff that's sort of can't be bothered, or you know, the stuff we get from big developers, which is we're not going to spend that money. You know, we're just the bland, in a way, of bland designs. You know, in a way, that's the enemy, I think. You know, so
you're all for it.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, and there is, you know, we saw there a little kind of Tiggy Winkle cottage, which is a beautiful house, and it's between two kind of modernist nonsense, you know, things which are lovely, you know, and it's you just get that cheek by jowl craziness, but you get that in cities, you get it in the great European capitals, you get it in beautiful villages, you know, that sort of higgledy-piggledy cheek by jowl stuff, and so yeah, it's good to see.
Now, things are obviously very tight at the moment.
Yeah.
But, you know, with building a house, it can be, can't it, cheaper than buying a house, building from scratch?
Well, yeah, look, affordability is a big issue, of course, and we know right at the moment many people are facing the choice between heating or eating, and it's so we're in a very, very stressed time. House prices are going up, of course, still. To say that everything at Graven Hill is affordable would not be true, because, you know, the plots themselves are 150, 200,000 pounds, you know. That's just a slab with some pipes sticking out of it and the water in, you know, ready for you to build. But then you've got to build the house. So, yeah, this is not Grand Designs. This is a more affordable version of it. But I wouldn't like to say that this is answering any of the major questions about affordability. It's answering a lot of questions about quality, about sustainability, about community, about how people build community alongside, as they do. And it's answering questions, I think, about the aesthetics and the mix and how, you know, we could make our towns and cities look and feel. But everybody there who's building a house says, do you know what, for my £300,000 or my £400,000, whatever, I could not have found a house of this quality. I couldn't have built this house at all. Like, it would have been much, much smaller and somebody else's. And so I think there's a sort of affordable, helping, you know, people get onto the ladder, probably not, although I think actually it's pointing that way, because in 10 years' time, who knows, we'll see, you know, we're already filming the third series, by the way, and we're filming in York and Glasgow, and we've got a pilot project just about to happen, which is a community self-build. It's people coming together in an affordable way to build flats with each other and for each other. So I think, you know, if we move that, which is a much more European model, we see it in Germany, for example, and Holland, then yeah, so fingers crossed, next series.
Well, you can see Grand Designs, The Streets, on Wednesday evening. It's Channel 4, 9 o'clock.
It is indeed. Right, we've got a lovely story for you now. At the weekend, 95-year-old Ivor Button became the oldest person in the world to complete a wing walk. Now, just before the show, we had a right good chat with him.
Hello, Ivor. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, you've made international headlines because your news has gone even as far as New Zealand. You've become the oldest person to wing walk. And I suppose, Ivor, the question is why did you decide that you wanted to do this?
My grandson arranged it. He lives in Australia. And he phoned me up one day and said, do you still want to do the wing walk? Well, I wasn't aware I'd ever said I did. But I said, well, I'll give it a go, Josh. And but that was before first lockdown. So it didn't happen until he's here now from Australia, staying with me. So that's an ideal time to do the wing walk.
I have to say, Ivor, there's plenty of other things that your grandson could have suggested, but it was also so brave of you to get up there and actually do it. Did you enjoy it?
I didn't enjoy the actual flight because it was more physically demanding than I ever expected it to be.
It's amazing.
As soon as it took off, although I love flying, I thought this is a mistake. You can't do it. And quite honestly, I didn't make a very good job of it. But there we are.
Amazing.
No, I think people are in awe of you, including us. It's amazing that you've done it. But you know, you've got...
I don't feel brave. I'm perhaps a bit stupid, but not brave.
Oh, no, you are brave. Trust me. It was absolutely incredible.
Now, you've got a very big family, Ivor, including 22 grandchildren. What did the family think then of this idea? Because it is quite punchy.
Well, they didn't exactly disapprove, but I don't think they fully approved either. I think they thought I was a bit batty. But there we are.
Brilliant.
Well, you did it to raise money, and also, you know, as we said, it's an incredible thing for anybody to do of any age. So a big round of applause for Ivor. And
huge achievement, Ivor. Lots of love.
His honesty is amazing.
Incredible.
We were talking about pranking people, weren't we, at the beginning of the show? We've had this lovely message in from May. She says, my partner made some fake raffle tickets and convinced me that he'd won a prize, a light aircraft flight. We flew over Darwin Tower where we live, and as you can see, I was in for a surprise, a proposal. How lovely.
Brilliant.
Congratulations, May. If you said yes, which we presume you did.
Well, that's it for tonight. Thanks to Dame Penelope, Kelly and Kevin, and we'll be back tomorrow with Sienna Miller, Rupert Friend and Will Young. We'll see you then.
See you then. Bye.